Police corporals, all the way down to the chief of police, everything you see in the light gray is gone. So that starting pay for the police corporal now will start at $45,700. And for the fire sergeant. Police sergeant, 54, so forth and so on. At the end of the day, it's going to take about $2.3 million to get to this number. And that, where we get that $2.3 million is the salaries, fixing the salary structure is about, and help measure young blood, the salaries was about 1.3 or so, and then the merits on top of that gets us to the 2.3.
You just can't do that, you gotta.
Right, you gotta do everything, and this is for police and fire. You guys can see the police officer is comparable to the firefighter, so forth and so on. Police sergeant, fire lieutenant, those are comparable to each other. William, if I'm missing anything, step in and help me.
The total amount, 3.8 is 2.3 to get us to here, and then a 1.5 on top of that makes it 3.8, which is the number we're looking for.
3.8 total.
Yeah, I thought you said
It's a 1.5.
merit brings us to 2.3.
Doesn't the mayor bring us to, where's Barry? Doesn't the merit, with the salary increase for the police and fire and merit, doesn't that get us to $2.3 million?
I think it's 3.8. 2.3 plus 1.5 brings us to 3.8.
I thought it was $1.3 million.
Yeah, well, the merit citywide is going to be about 1.5 and 1.6.
For citywide
Merit.
merit increases.
Yes.
That's everyone.
Right.
But for just the police part, because I thought the number we had left, they rounded up, we was talking 4 million.
Because that was the number you're gonna have to get for everybody to be able to get their merit increases plus.
Plus that, yeah. So
Plus, that was everybody, so I'm just doing just the police department.
Okay,
On that,
2.3.
yes, sir. If
Okay.
you throw in your number, then that
Yes,
gets you,
okay, okay.
that gets you the whole city.
But you're on the right track, there's
You
no
gotta do
way,
them all.
well, no way we're gonna do this one group and not the other.
So 3.8 is the number we look for.
We rounded it to 4.
Well, new money though, new money today that we're looking for, new money today is 1.3. Because the merits are gonna happen no matter whether.
Not necessarily.
Well,
I thought that was
With
right.
Mr. Crab doing the
I
book,
thought the
so
mayor had happened, so.
Right.
You gotta look for 4 million new money.
Right.
Regardless, but you would assume that we'll find that
Right.
sometime, just natural growth.
So that is where we are with police and fire. I shared with you guys, and it's a thought, and I know we don't have a money tree outside, but, you know, we did run some numbers on some retention bonuses, for the police and fire officers. These were done in November of last year. The top paragraph, and correct me, Major, if I'm wrong, the top paragraph in the police department, these are the numbers of officers that we have with the numbers of years of service today, or in November. If we wanted to do a $2,500 incentive bonus for 5, 10, 15, and 20-year police officers, is $207,000. We didn't, and I didn't ask Chief Jordan to run it for the fire department, so, you know, just estimating is probably roughly $150,000, just estimating, because they have less employees. Just ballpark. So you add 207 and 150, you're at, you know, $350,000 in incentive bonuses for that one. The bottom part was, if we had the magic wand, you know, you could do 2,500, 5, 7,500, and 10 incentive bonuses for officers that were there 5, 10, 15, and 20 years.
Then you have to hit fire that.
Yes, sir, and that's what I'm gonna tell you. 500,000 for the police, 400,000 for the fire, so you're roughly at $1 million in that category. So the overall, like the mayor said, city employees fixing the pay salary scale in the police and fire department, you're at $4.5, $5 million. New money that we need to find for this year. Also,
Next year.
Yes, sir, excuse me, for next year. Also, in our committees, we talked to Chris Conway about our paving needs in the city. We're paving 15 miles today of streets that need to be paved. Or, excuse
Per
me, we're,
district?
no,
30.
we're paving total, Charlie, we're paving total 15 miles of streets in this town. We, this council, now that's not including,
What he's paving totally for the year would be probably about 30 miles?
25.
25, 30 miles.
Chris said, William, correct me if I'm wrong,
He's
Chris
on,
said.
he's on his way.
Is he? I know Chris said we were paving about 15 miles of streets in the city.
Well-
We have crews to pave 35 miles.
Yep.
We need to pave 55 miles to keep up with where we're
Right,
at.
you need 55
You're
miles.
mixing apples and oranges. The 15 miles would be neighborhoods. The
Correct, and that's what I was
other-
telling
the
Charlie,
other would
not
be
your
the-
Zelda roads
yeah,
and all
right,
that stuff.
of
No,
course,
sir,
yeah.
this
Which we
is
have to
just
pay a
the council
20%
money.
match
Yes,
to.
yes, sir.
And some of your monies go to those matches.
Right.
too.
But just this council, okay, we'll specify it in neighborhoods, we're only paving 15 miles of
And they
streets
say,
a year.
but on average, the crews average between 25 and 30 miles a year in pavement. Present crew.
Well, that's what we have
everything.
crews, yes, sir, we have crews, and we're not even
But
paving
you
what they can
need,
do.
you need to be paving 55 miles a year to keep up.
Yes, sir.
Then you gotta spend then you gotta have another 146 miles paved to catch up, to get ahead.
To where we're at, yes, sir.
You're 146 miles behind, and then you need 55 miles a year to keep up.
Just
in
to
that
keep
one.
up with where you're at.
Okay.
How much is estimated cost per mile? Is it like
$100,000, yes.
Well, they said 60
Ballpark.
to 70,000.
Curb and gutter,
Yeah, I'll-
drive it up,
Okay.
just regular pavement, 50, 60. The average is what we use is 100, it's usually around 80,000.
And we have started milling everything, right, before we pave it?
Most
I
of
don't,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know
Not
that
all
that's,
of it.
if it needs it, yes.
Yeah.
If it needs it, yes.
Where can we see some of these 15 miles?
We can get them from Chris, and I think we have them correct.
It's on the internet.
They're on the internet, yeah.
Yeah, it's paid, yeah, it's been paid. It's
You,
not-
I mean, you,
No, I'm talking about actually seeing where you can take some of the citizens and say, hey, this is 15 miles right here, because I've not seen any place, so what area they're doing it, because
That's Chris, what you got.
When we
Yeah.
see some of 15 and 16
I saw some
for 4
actually in
years.
Charlie's in Halcyon the other day when I was cutting through. I don't know what streets they were.
there's a ton of it.
Yeah,
they got a lot
I
Around,
noticed.
none of it around Williams District.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit in District 6.
I put up
Didn't see any
an
There's
extra
a
1,000.
listing of all the streets in District 6 that are scheduled to be repaved.
Yeah, you already know.
No.
Anyway,
That's what.
So, yeah.
that's the need, so you need $4 million,
Probably 5, Charlie.
5
If-
for
if we-
salaries,
Yep,
and then another,
3.5 for paving, if we
well,
want
it's
to do
3.5, that's 3.5 a year
on top of what we're doing
on top of
today.
catching up.
Yes, sir.
So it costs you $8 million to catch up,
Yes, sir.
in my opinion. And then 3.8 million a year to keep it going. That's the budget numbers for next year.
Well, no, it's not gonna take you 3.5 to continue. If you were to catch up today, it's gonna take us $5.5 million to continue to pay what we need to pay.
Well,
not to
all
fall
depends what you
behind.
figure
Right,
the 55 miles.
yes, sir.
If they're $100 a mile, 100,000 a mile, then yeah, you're right, 5.5 million.
So looking at the numbers, if we have to do 5.5 million a year, what we want to get to, and then that extra pay, which would mean 2.3 million, which is a recurring expense, excluding the 1.5 million for the one-time incentive for the employees.
Right.
So we're looking at we're trying to find theoretically right now 9.5 million, then going forward 8 million. Is that correct?
Say that again now?
Anyway, the incentive bonus for the employees, that's 1.5
Yes,
million.
yes.
So, that's a one-time expense, but the recurring expense is for the, police and firemen, that's 2.3.
That's correct.
And then you throw on top of that the 5.5, which is what we want to get to. So
Well-
we're looking at about a 7.8,
We can't.
number that we need to sustain going forward, correct?
Well, no, and it depends, Mayor, how the merits work. I don't know
Is that a one time?
Yeah, well, if you get a merit every year,
No,
you
we're
get
talking
every.
about paving.
Oh, no, no,
Right
sir,
side.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just-
But
You
we want to
pay
do all of
55
it.
in term.
Right.
But that's a one time.
The merits would come up, Charlie, and help me. I guess you could get merits every year, every other year.
But
If you got the
Every year
money.
some.
If you've got the money,
Get the
yeah,
money.
then you're right, then that's
We have
every
to
year.
spend
Oh,
merits.
so then the number instead of
Once you
7.8.
get it, it's there.
You gotta build it.
I think the incentive bonus, would that be every year?
And once you get it, it's
Every
there
5
the
years?
next year.
You know,
Unless you don't budget
from
what
now
you did
on,
that,
budget 15,
that would be every
like you
year.
said, what you
The incentive bonuses would be every
So
year.
every time somebody gets.
For the rest of
Correct,
his,
for
yeah,
every year.
that
But once you
dollar
get
amount's
a big guy
there.
with the 10,
Whether they get one the next year or not.
the big
Well,
one
Making
is
$100 a year,
Right.
you give them 115, they're still making 115 the next year.
Oh, okay, so that's
Current
recurring.
year on that. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, yeah, you might not get a merit every year, but once you get that, I mean, again, making
there.
$100
It's
is
there.
with them for the rest
So
of
just
their.
to round it
Yeah.
off, so we'll know what we're looking at in terms of trying to find the funding, 10 million. Right?
Roughly,
On the budget.
roughly, yes.
Okay.
So you
that-
gotta have $10 million extra in the budget next year to cover all.
Well, that's what we're gonna talk about.
Plus, you gotta have,
Plus.
you gotta have enough, you gotta have another 8 million one time to catch up all your pay.
Yeah, but see, the 4 million for next year on the salary side of the equation.
Understand?
You still got another couple of million for various things that would add to it, so you're talking 6, you're talking 10, 11, 12 million bucks is what the number gotta be for next year.
We got some numbers
And
to look
going
at.
forward.
And going.
So the question is, I
I'll
guess.
start growing the money
is-
trees, we'll be in good shape.
So I guess the question is, how will we, I mean, before the council is, how would we go about getting that combination of cuts or new revenue sources? You know, what are those options and what do we want to consider?
You said there would be cuts.
I think that's something that we could possibly look at. I mean, I think we,
What can you cut?
I really don't. I tell you what I'd like for you guys are talking about cuts, to give us a list of cuts, okay? Go through the budget and look and see where your cuts will be. And then next year, when we get to the budget time, sit through every one of the budget hearings that we have and see if you can justify any of them cut. Because when I sit through there, I can't find anybody that ain't pretty tight on the numbers. Every department. Now, you might cut a little bit, but you ain't gonna get $10 million.
Charlie, we're not talking about cutting Parks and Rec, or we're not talking about cutting, just pick a department, IT or whatever, yeah, I mean,
Okay, well, tell me what.
well, on the miscellaneous stuff, Charlie, our job is to provide police and fire, pave your streets, pick your trash up, make sure your lights are on, and curb and gutter. And that's about the job that we're supposed to do, and anything else extra is gravy. We don't have any gravy anymore. And if you stop and look at it, some of the miscellaneous stuff that we have in the budget, and it's wonderful. But if we want to go raise us a tax, we're going to have to cut some things out of that budget that are, quote,
You need to
90 cents.
propose, you go ahead and get those numbers together, so we can start talking about them, because that's what you're talking about. We got to-
well, here's what I'm saying. We could possibly do that. I know, Glenn and I talked about some things we can put forward. But I don't think cuts alone gonna get us 100% there.
No, sir, it's not.
So,
It ain't gonna come
like I
close.
said, if the council has some ideas, we would like input on that. I mean, I'm sure we can probably come up with something. Glenn and I can sit in the back room and come up with something, but it's probably better for an open discussion where we all,
I think
don't
the
take it.
council will be open for suggestions, okay? Y'all have been working on this, you both have the same basic idea, and I think you need to come forward with those particular ideas and say, hey, this is what we think can happen. And then let the council know as a whole. Because y'all have been researching more than we have. I mean, I've been to the budget here, and I know where it goes, but I have a different opinion. But if you see something I don't see, I welcome you to open it up.
I think what we've done research so far up to this point is what actually it would take.
Take us
But we haven't
to
really
where
looked
we're
at
at yet.
research on the revenue side. But
Okay.
if we're not willing to put forth any ideas, I understand a lot of times we have to put stuff on the board first. So if that's what you want us to do, we'll
I think
Glenn
you
and
got
I and volunteer will meet again and we'll discuss some things.
Well, and Charlie, and it's pretty simple what options we have. And everybody knows sitting around this table. One, we can do nothing. Two, we can make some small cuts to some nonprofits. We can ask for a property tax referendum where we know that's going to go. Or the fourth thing is, we looking at occupational tax.
Could
I mean-
Gas and oil tax.
Yeah, I mean, or gas and oil, I mean, something to generate some revenue,
We
but.
got another thing that's hanging over our head that I don't know we all
You shared,
aware of.
yeah.
About the internet tax. I don't know how much y'all know about what's going on with internet tax. Barry, you want to share with us a little bit?
Well, it's, the state last year implemented a simplified program for online sellers who didn't have facilities in the state of Alabama to pay their taxes direct to the state. And they established a rate of 8%. With the state getting 4%, the cities and counties splitting it 4%, so the cities would get 2%. At that time, it was sold to us as monies we wouldn't have otherwise received. I mean, the Amazons, they didn't have facilities here, so they weren't going to pay it. And so that was a good thing. We were getting tax coming into the system.
Excuse me, Barry, don't say it that way. It wasn't sold to us, it was just done.
Well, that was stuff down our throat. We were concerned, we would have much preferred to have dealt with the sellers direct, where we can get the full 3.5% instead of 2%. And there's cities out there that have 5% sales taxes that are having to settle for the 2% that the state's collected. What they're looking at now is an amendment that will allow brick and mortar stores that also have online shipments, Walmart.com, Target.com, Best Buy, basically all of the big box stores that ship online. Right now, they have to remit their taxes locally at full rates. They're looking at allowing them to go into that simplified sellers use tax program with their online sales. So looking at taking more 3.5% sales out of our system going into the sellers use tax program. But 2, I think we've got a good plan this year. But I think if you look out over the next 10 years, you can see more of that. If you look at other states, Alabama's one of the few that has 400 municipalities dealing with all the sellers. Very few. And the trend of going more centralized, there's going to be more and more pressure to do that. So, I mean, looking out 5 years, 10 years, and online sales are going to be growing.
Mobile has 5.5% sales tax, Huntsville has 4.5% sales tax, we have 3.5%. They are, and we need to be thinking in terms of, as you get more of these brick and mortars that go out of the full 3.5% to the 2%. Now, we're working with the governor's office, with the legislature right now, and the Department of Revenue to try to modify that formula. But at the end of the day, the 5 big cities are really shouldering the burden that gets shared with the 400 other smaller cities that doesn't have the Whole Foods, or won't have the Targets, and won't have the others. So we don't know where that's going to go. That's the Tripp Pittman bill that he's put in. But whether it's next year, the next year, the next year, as this expands, cities are going to have to look at other revenue sources other than sales tax.
What does that do to us dollar wise? Just say tomorrow that this went into effect.
It was worth $932,000 in 2017. We know that. We're thinking it could be as much as about 2-3 next year with the ad, and it could go everywhere it goes. Now, if we're successful in changing the formula and not taking a bigger haircut, then we can get it down to a manageable. If it was $1 million going forward, we could manage that.
Right.
Now, that's another $1 million we've got to add to the
Yes,
pot.
somewhere.
We've got to find it. But you get up around $3 or $4 million.
That hurts.
I mean, that really does.
Hold on. When we get a net gain, I mean, for example, Amazon doesn't have, maybe I heard it wrong.
Whole Foods.
They've got next.
Yeah, but nevertheless, though, when I go on Amazon and I buy something that's not sold at Whole Foods, do we not get that too?
Because they have Nexus now, because they bought Whole Foods under the existing laws, just like Walmart has a store here. If they sell anything online, they have to remit to us. So our argument would be, because Amazon has Whole Foods, any shipments they have into the city, they ought to deal with us on. That's an easy.
And trying to buy Target.
Right, if they buy Target, it's a trend that's going to continue. I think
But what I'm saying is, I understand you're looking at the net loss of the stores that have brick and mortar, but there are other people that sell in Montgomery that don't have a brick and mortar. So if we just looking at the loss side, has anybody estimated what we will pick up on those stores and the other internet sales from other people other than the large big stores?
Okay.
Shouldn't they offset? I mean, we just looking at what we'll lose. I mean, if nothing else, worst case scenario, it'll be a net
We lost 932 this past year.
It sounds
Oh,
good.
so we were getting, so are you telling me already now we're charging people 2%?
Well,
Yeah.
it sounds good, but it's a voluntary tax. Nobody's required to. Amazon probably makes up over 50% of the total program. So we collected 932 taxes, but we think we have in the $9 to $10 million range where we're collecting sales taxes on .com brick and mortar stores. Walmart.com, Target, those stores. We think it's in the $8 to $10 million range. It's difficult to segregate. So that would come out at 3.5, and then we get it back at 2, or if we're successful in increasing that rate, maybe 3. But over time, I mean, these other cities have been successful. Mobile has wrestled away 5 full percentage of the sales tax. Huntsville, that the mayor talks about, they have they got a 3.5% sales tax plus another percent if they put the economic development. That's about $35 to $40 million that they use to fund economic development.
But you're saying that Huntsville's losing, they're going from 4.5 to 2?
Right.
And Birmingham's going from 5.5 to 2?
Mobile.
Let me make sure you hear what we're saying is, because the formula is disadvantaging the big cities. Because
we get 3.5 now, but they go to state, then we'll lose 1%.
and they give it to you on a population basis. Well, it's not just the people that order off the internet. Businesses order off the internet. Where most of your businesses, where most of your internet sales going to originate? They're going to originate in the metropolitan areas. And so for us in the county to split 2 and 2 doesn't make a lot of sense to us. And for us in Shabootaville to split 2% doesn't make a lot of sense to us. The larger cities, we think, ought to at least get some advantage to the extent that you've got businesses that are purchasing on the internet, and most of those are going to be in the city.
I agree with you 100%. That makes a whole lot of sense. But what I'm saying is this already implemented now what we're taxing?
Yes, sir.
It's already implemented now, but now there's a question about allowing the big box stores and their
Go to the
online sales
simplified 2%, we take a percent. Okay. I thought it wasn't implemented. I thought something.
No. But at the end of the day, the brick and mortar stores that have invested, that are the local businesses, they are 2% disadvantaged today. They're the ones that are going to suffer. They're the ones that are going to file bankruptcy. They're the ones that are going out of business because they've got an unfair disadvantage.
Well, and as the population ages, more and more of the younger people are going to order online.
That's right.
So less and less folks are going to go in these brick and mortar businesses. So I really see the return of the Sears catalog store. Remember that? You're old enough to remember the catalog store, but the reality of it, that's where it's headed back to. And you talk about a real reduction in sales tax, you bet.
So what happens with so to levelize it out, it goes to both the big cities and the small cities too, small towns too? Does the state have any advantage in this?
Yeah. They gave it all. They took. We would normally get 10%. The state then said, okay, voluntary, you come in and we're only going to charge you 8%. Well, the state tax is 4%. So you would have thought they would have shared that with the cities and the counties. They still get their 4%. We got a haircut down from 3.5 to 2. Now, counties, they need the money, but most of the counties are not at 2%. They're at 1%, 1.5%.
And for example, Huntsville, 4.5%, your county gets 0.5%. So they're getting a 1.5% increase for all these online sales. Mobile, I think, is 1%.
I know.
In the county lobbyists.
So anyway, we're working to make it as fair as possible.
Okay.
We're still fighting.
Well, and I guess, Charlie, and we'll wrap it up and go into the thing, but I wanted you guys to hear this. But I feel like that if we don't address this issue, we're going to have real problems in the next few years.
No question.
Just for example, and Chief Jordan wanted to be here, and he's got the flu, and Chief Finley's here. In the last 7 years, we have lost 467 police officers. The average year of those police officers is 7 to 8. Now, we've done a lot, and the mayor and Barry worked to go back to the RSA retirement and waiting on the state legislators to vote on it. But we've got to fix these pay structures for police and fire, and look at our paving. We've got to do that. So, Charlie, you want us to?
I think you look for the revenue sources, okay? mean, that's, somebody gotta look for revenue. I mean, Barry and the mayor can look for revenue, or we can look for revenue, but y'all have started this thing, you better go ahead and look for it.
I'm saying it should be not just revenue alone. I think, we should probably cut somewhere.
Not that many options.
No, no.
I think
Let me give you
y'all need
three.
to have a meeting and talk about it,
Let me
okay?
give you three facts that you just need to know. First of all, we're down about 2,000 employees from 7 years ago. So you talked about attrition. We didn't lay anybody off. We made
Right.
about 50 off the first year.
Down to 2,000?
We went from about 20, I'm sorry, not 2,000. We started, wait a minute, let me keep
We
my
wouldn't have
numbers
anybody here.
We started at 30, we're at 2,400 today.
Right.
We started with about 3,200, so maybe 800, yeah, maybe, right. That's number one. Number two, a rating agency in 2016 rated the city of Montgomery as the best run city. A rating agency just at the end of last year, along with Huntsville, Alabama, rated Montgomery as the best performing city. And so that and it's a issue of cost or expense per employee. And so while you always can find some gains there, there's not a lot of operational side. Because we know we don't have enough sanitation, we know we don't have enough fire, we know we don't have enough police and some of those kinds of things.
Anyway, let's carry on with you, because you brought the number to the table. Now we know what we're doing, okay?
All right,
All right,
one
we'll
more
get
story, and then we're done. I talked to, I won't say his name, it's a captain in the police department. And this is a long-term guy, it's a friend of mine, long-term guy.
Tell them who it is.
No, I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of
Not
friends.
really.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No.
they are tickled to death at this and the retirement program. And this gentleman has his years and said that if we do this, he's not going anywhere. So,
Why we
I mean,
doing it?
it's,
That's what we're trying to do.
that's it.
That's where it goes.
It's just a little
No,
reaffirming.
we're encouraged.
Very good, okay.
reconfirming.
Get started on the resolution.
Yeah, they want to get
They
it
don't
back.
want any more money.
They want to get it back.
Let's get back to the agenda this afternoon. Got a good many things to do, and,
We have an executive session too.
first item is being carried over again.
We talking about the name and good character.
No, we're talking about a real estate transaction.
We talking about the name and good character.
I don't think that's one of the things you go into executive session.
It is.
Okay,
We need to add it.
item number
We need
2,
to add it.
where you at?
I don't know anything about
I
that.
like to talk.
Yeah. Okay. All right, all we know. Item number 3, Tommy?
This is a doggy daycare. And the planning commission recommended the rezoning for M3Q qualified limited to the animal clinic, hospital, or kennel, and uses that are allowed in B2, which is,
Okay. It's a doggy daycare. And we come from highway. Okay. Resolution. Number 3.
It's almost up here.
That's no problem, okay. It didn't, it passed. All right, number 4. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, you've got, you'll get the chart on the 4. Every year, we have to put CAFRA out in the March, April timeframe. We always try to have the latest R chart. This represents just a couple of changes. The first one is under Public Works. It used to be just in that box, you see where it says inspections / we've added blight removal to give credence to the activities that are going on within the inspections department. That's our first step. We funded those efforts along the way, so that's the change there. And then the other one is over under development and planning, under the chief of staff. Today, it's one organization with development and planning really headed by Mac. But what we've done is broken out the planning side, which would be more long-range planning, and then the development side, which would be what traditionally Mac has been doing along the way. You want to pick up some of that?
And the risk management piece.
The risk management piece has gone from the chief of staff over to the finance director. Yeah. Those are the changes.
So, is this the one we're talking about, a new, position?
It is a position that will be focused on development, is what we had when we first started this, and we're going back to that.
But is it a new position?
Is it a new position?
You ready? The old position was city development director, and we closed that out and just wrote that description a little bit different, more focus on, community development, depot.
Yeah, John.
Yes, John, that was what Chad Emerson was.
But, okay, let me think I make myself clear. Is this a new position?
Yeah,
I don't wanna know if it's similar to the one that we had, but is this a new position?
It's a position that has not been filled.
So why do we need, if it's not a new position, why do we need the new organizational chart?
Because I would have argued not. We don't need one, but to the extent that you're gonna have now planning and a long-range planning focus, that's gonna be a separate organization.
Mayor, can I clarify one thing too? This is really just showing how the reporting responsibilities change when Anita Archie left. The current org chart in our ordinance, in our website, shows development reporting to the mayor and planning reporting to development, because MAC was development and planning reported to that department. Now, planning and development report to the chief of staff, so it's really just realigning departments under who they actually report to.
Okay. I'm not all into that business. It takes me a lot longer to get some of those people. What I'm trying to find out, if it's a newer position, if it's not a new position, why are you asking the council? I mean, the mayor has the authority to do it.
No, the council has to, it has to be an ordinance. The council has to, I don't know what the word.
I understand, but I want for new division, new position. You can move them around. You move them around all the time, don't you?
No, if there's a change in reporting, I mean, the organization chart, the development director used to report to the mayor, and that's what you guys have passed.
Well, who is that? Who's doing those duties now?
Mac McLeod.
Mac doing those duties now.
Mac is the chief of staff now. There is a person, the development director has been vacant. They will, I think they're gonna cancel that position and change the name of it to something different. They will eventually.
You have to go to personnel.
But even if they didn't do that, development now reports to the chief of staff as opposed to the mayor.
Okay, but don't you have to go to personnel now?
There is a job out right now.
Okay, so it's not a promotion within.
I mean, it could be, they're in
It's
there.
an open competitive.
Okay,
It's open competitive.
I'm trying, so what I'm saying is that you gotta go with personnel. You gotta gotta advertise, am I correct? So then I'm not getting it. If you gotta do all of that, it's a new position.
I guess what I'm saying, these are just the structures of the departments and who they report to. Within any of these departments, we right now, the finance department, we've got a new position. We're changing the treasurer's position to an accountant one to try to get a higher level.
And you don't have to come to the council.
We don't have to come because that doesn't change. Finance still reports to the mayor. This is strictly a change in reporting. Development used to report to the mayor, they're now reporting to the chief of staff.
Okay, now, MAC is not in development now.
MAC is not in development now.
Okay.
The highest ranking person.
We're finding a replacement for Mac. That's the easiest way to say it.
But even if we weren't, even if we did away with that position, we would still need you to approve development reporting now to the chief of staff as opposed to the mayor.
Okay.
And risk management.
Risk management reporting to me instead of the chief of
I'm trying to
staff.
find is there gonna be any new money?
I mean, there's no, in my department, finance, in every department, there.
No money. When it come back for the budget, we don't need any money.
Right. This is something we've needed to get done administratively since Anita Archie left and the mayor realigned the departments. I mean, this is just a,
What's the bottom line, move Mac into, that's the deal. Mac moved into Anita's spot, and you gotta move somebody.
and some of
from
Anita's
Mac's spot.
positions now report to me, and the planning used to report to development, now planning reports to
Now, who's
chief
the
staff.
planning?
Well,
Come on.
I have a question.
Yeah, go.
Wasn't
I don't get it.
Wasn't Robert over planning and development though?
No,
No. Mac
Robert was planning and he
planning.
reported to development.
So Robert reported to Mac?
Correct.
He did, he reported to
Okay.
planning, reported
And
to
still
development.
report to me.
And before Matt gone came, who did Robert report to?
Anita?
Anita.
Anita.
Okay, so when Matt came, he started reporting to Matt. And Matt is taking over Anita's job, so he report back to Matt.
That's the chief of staff.
Chief said. Who was this new person report to?
To chief of staff.
Well, since Matt already had a position, and it seems to me he keep on doing it. Isn't he doing a great job at it? Are we having a great job? Are
But
we?
he's the chief of staff now.
Okay, 155 my mouth. How long you think I'm at?
9 years.
9 years. And you said you're not going to run for re-elected, right?
I've said that.
Okay. So why, to me, I'm not questioning your integrity. But I don't know why would you call. Okay, so you said no more. That's no more money. You don't have to give him more money.
Right, doesn't change the budget.
Doesn't change the budget.
Well, the question he needs to ask is there money in the budget to fill this position? I think that's where Fred's missing that.
let me
That's
out.
You had a
it.
need
You
in Mac.
missing what
You had a need in Mac. Need left, Mac went up. There's a salary available.
You know, I think a mayor will put whom he wants to. But
I don't
let me
have that
just
luxury.
tell you
I don't have that
something. It's been my, no disrespect, it's been my experience that when someone is moving out, politician, elected official, he's doing one or two things. Freeing the position from one of his cronies, or, I'm not talking about you, or getting back at somebody that he, in the situation. I don't know which one it is. Either you taking something from somebody or you giving something, or a position is created. I'm gonna put down a name in an envelope and seal it. And neither you or I are coming back. I'm not coming back either. I mean, I'm not rerunning for anything. So I just want to know if I'm right. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, first of all, I'm not gonna make the selection. Mac's gonna make the selection. It's an open competition, and there may be 10 or 15. If we actually advertise the position.
Well, Matt can't hire. If you want to have to hire, I'll let you designate to him. I mean,
Well,
eventually you're going to have to prove it.
I have a question though. Can we not do the job that we're doing today without this individual?
Yeah, if you want Mac to operate as the development director.
I think you're doing a
and the
great
chief of
job.
staff. Look,
But the whole thing.
I'm just saying that for 100, I don't know how much this individual makes, but I mean,
Glenn.
you know, but hang on, Barry. I mean, we're sitting here, we're talking about trying to find $10 million, and I'm just saying, well, that's what we need to find, and we're gonna pay somebody else $100,000 when we can't do it within our departments today, this job, without reorganizing. But that's all I'm saying.
look.
You
if
see where I'm headed?
We've been doing this now for, what, 8 months at least? Because he's got to publish this in a CAFRA. He's got to have it as it is, as the org actually works.
He's gotta publish it in what?
CAFRA.
Financial statements.
Financial statements.
Right now, the
And
law,
we got a sign that says it's absolute.
so the law says that risk management reports to the chief of staff. Well, Scott Kramer's been reporting to me since Anita left. We're not hiring anybody in there. It's just a reporting role. I mean, he reports to the finance director now, but on our current ordinance or org chart, it shows him reporting to chief of staff. Right now, it shows the development department reporting to the mayor, and they don't do that. They report to the chief of staff. It's just, regardless of what happens within those departments, this is just who those departments report to.
I understand all of that, I swear I do. But I will bet everybody sitting around this table that whoever gets that job ain't in the city today, or is not on the city payroll today. I'm just guessing.
How you know that?
Just
My
guessing.
whole thing is, even if that job didn't
I just-
exist, we'd still need this. We'd still need development as it exists today.
They've been operating
reporting
for
to the chief
6
of
or 8 months
staff.
without it, so he may not fill it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If it goes to personnel, the
It's
city
already gone to
doesn't.
personnel.
Okay, you're not gonna have any authority, and you're gonna pick the top, they're gonna send you the top 3,
No, this is.
top 10.
They just can't do that.
So what I'm saying is that how can, well, if it's already, sometimes I don't understand, if it's already in the city, then I don't understand why you need to go outside and get somebody else.
Councilman Bill, I guess
He may not go outside and get anybody else.
But you make it, but you make it,
But it's only fair.
but you
Those
make it.
already approved.
But somebody is doing this job right
It's
now.
already a
No.
position with the city. This is just approving.
I know you got to vote. I know you got to vote. Let's go and vote now. All right. Ain't nothing against Mac. I love you, Mac. Don't think it's nothing against you. But, huh?
Yeah, Mac likes those things.
I think you're doing a good job. I think you ought to stay there.
All right, everybody understand what we're doing here?
It's just
Yes.
reorganizing for
Fixing
the
things
record.
so he can get a proper report to the county people, right?
That's it.
Act 617 requires that the organizational chart be in line.
Has to be
When
correct.
she was a partner.
Can't be incorrect and get docked for not being correct. All right, item number 6. Liquor store on, Circle K on Ann Street. Must be a change on this.
This is at Intech.
Intech?
Up to,
Oh, I'm sorry,
231,
Intech.
at Big Intech. Yes, sir, just changing
Okay.
on us.
Yep, that's, so, police says okay. I like that. All right, number 7, same thing. Police says
Skip 5.
okay.
Skip 5.
Let's get
Number
5,
five.
I'm sorry. So small, I just missed, okay. What's the deal? Did we, somebody said we didn't pull this off? Tommy, go ahead.
This was, heard by the planning commission. It's a name change from McGowan Street to T.S. Morris Drive. And all these properties over there are vacant. They, council approved closing part of the street so that they have less traffic. And the lady that's trying to clean up the area and provide a youth facility is the one that wants the name change.
Okay.
There was one personal objection, and they, after hearing the conversation, the planning commission recommended renaming it, subject to the name change not going into effect until a facility was constructed and received a CO.
Okay. So the change it when the construction.
That's the recommendation that the planning commission made for the council.
Okay. Well, that sounds legitimate.
And the vote was like 71%.
It was unanimous of those present, there were 2 absences. That's 7-0.
Okay. Okay. You make any questions?
That's it.
The man in charge, that's his, he's in charge. Okay. Item number 6, we just talked about it. Item number 7.
Charlie, what are y'all in
Public
public
hearing,
hearing?
huh?
What's gonna happen to 6?
6?
Yes,
It's going,
sir.
okay.
Okay.
It's fine. So, number 8 is just the renaming of the person that board.
Charlie, can I ask one more question? Number 2, I missed it.
He's gonna vote it down.
Okay.
Number 9, is replace the person on the Queen City for the sheriff. The resignation and replacement. Number 10, this one's been withdrawn. Number 11 is the abatement.
We want to talk about that.
Thomas, tell us about it.
Yeah, we want to, and Chris, where is Chris? Chris,
Sean went that way.
He was
Just a
here.
second, yeah.
Here's your, we'll call it Chris.
Go ahead, make your report, then we want to tell you what additional step we're gonna take, put a little more pressure on some folks to clean up their neighborhood.
Number of violations cited fiscal years 18-16. You're approving 105 for abatement tonight
This is for the month of January.
for the last 2 weeks. 105 since the last council meeting. We did have a long session.
That's not even grass.
If
That's
you'll
not even
remember,
grass,
the
Charlie.
gentleman came here with the pictures for Mobile Highway, and I sent Thomas and others, including myself, to look at those issues that he talked about to see what in fact we, the city, has the authority to do, and frankly, is not much. The railroad issue was being addressed by the railroad independently of us, and the fact that there's a bunch of cars in an area, ADM had closed that business down, and he was in the process of getting rid of his cars, and some of the areas that had some growth in it really were not necessarily on private property. But what we identified in that situation is there are many times that we will, that you will approve something to get abated, whether it be grass or the house demolished or whatever. And so what we decided that we might need to do is, once these people were cited, and once they chose not to abate, and we have to go abate, and we're going to put on our meeting agenda those individuals that we had to go and spend money abating their property. You're gonna vote them. They're gonna get their notice. They're gonna have their due diligence, their time period to abate it. If they choose not to, then we're gonna bring some publicity to who is causing our dilapidation issues and weed issues and things like that. Have I said that correctly?
A little bit backwards. We've served them notice.
Yeah.
They've had their due diligence period.
Right.
What they're voting on tonight is the people who did not do anything.
Okay.
And so then after you vote tonight, it'll be abated Friday. We'll send the notices out tomorrow. They'll bid on it. Friday, we'll release the abatement agents to go take care of those. And then the following council meeting or two, we will actually publish those people that we ended up having to go and abate.
And where you gonna publish?
Well, it'll be on your agenda, but we'll publish it on the screen. It'll be public information at that point.
And it's public information today,
Right.
somebody wanted to know.
That's
But
right.
we just feel like that we have some repeat offenders, and we'd like to at least have the public know who the repeat offenders are.
Well, that brings us at least one step closer to the accountability that we think that is environmental court.
We're gonna send you the agenda for the environmental court over at the courthouse.
My question is, Mayor, I keep wondering why we don't identify it as an environmental court.
It is.
Why do we publicize it?
It is.
It is.
It is identified as an environmental court.
Where
It's
is
an
it?
environmental court document.
That's a court document. But
And Councilman Larkin, I'll just say this, just from my own personal standpoint, I would never be against any growth of the environmental court docket or whatever. What I don't want us to see happen is just this small number of 105 cases find its way into what could be an environmental court, when tonight you will vote and I will be able to take action. If I go through the environmental court, I've sat through the environmental court. A day's docket. A guy is taking him, months to get into court. He comes to court, and then they say, how much more time do you need to take care of this? He says, 90, 120 days. Okay, we'll talk to you in 90 or 120 days. And then they leave.
we don't really have
And
to say that.
I don't know what they have to say. I'm just telling you what I heard.
I mean, it depends on who the judge is.
And so what I don't want to get to is individually, all 105 of these people having to go to court when you guys are, in my mind, such an efficient environmental court judge with these particular cases.
And I really don't think that would be the intent of the environmental court, to bring every abatement issue before the environmental court. I think the environmental court would be meant for those cases that were more difficult to adjudicate.
And those are the ones that are going to environmental court. That's what I'm saying. That's the.
Tell us what you got. You say you got an environmental court, tell me about what you got.
Well, we have environmental court every Thursday at 10 o'clock for whatever cases are presented. It's anything from the repair of structures, bringing them into compliance, Dog nuisance cases show up on those regularly. Those are the most prominent cases that show up.
Every Thursday, 10 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Now, there was 3 last week. I don't look at it every week. It's a small docket, but whatever falls under that criteria is presented on every Thursday. It's been that way for at least 10 years. I used to prosecute the cases myself.
And this council could in fact refer something to the environmental court if it came before.
It's not so much a referral, sir. What they would do is have to fill out a deposition, present the case to a magistrate. They would make a probable cause determination as to if an offense was violated or there was a potential violation. Then we would give notice to the individual through a summons. We would not arrest them under these matters. Get them to court, let them enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. If they enter a plea of guilty, then the judge would dispense whatever justice they deemed appropriate. If they plead not guilty, we'll schedule for a trial, subpoena all involved parties or all witnesses listed on the deposition, and we'll have a trial. It'll be based on the merits.
And if we, just going back to the accountability issue that Councilman Clark was talking about, if we publish those that are the offenders, they're gonna be on cable TV, they're gonna be in the front here. It's generally a private matter. But again, I would argue that if we, the city council, or the mayor wanted to get something in environmental court, you go to the magistrate, you swear out whatever it is you want to swear out, and it becomes before you, correct?
Correct.
Some of these people are gonna put on screen next meeting.
You're gonna,
Could go.
you're gonna hear some squeak.
Okay.
May I ask a question right quick?
How do we understand the criteria for referrals to the environmental court? I mean, what is relevant to the environment? You mentioned only building construction and dogs, but what else is there?
Littering cases could show up there. Non-criminal littering could show up there as far as failing to keep a property in compliance. We've had the business license cases brought there before, non-payment of taxes related to those matters before. That's the general ones that I recall seeing on the present.
It's generally municipal ordinance violation.
Right.
So if it's a violation or municipal code, then they can go in. And then they put it on the docket that it's, applicable for, generally it's.
And then sometimes the way the city council, the legislative branch has prepared the ordinance, like the dog cases, the noise cases related to dogs, the ordinance specifically states, and I might be misquoted, this is going from memory, I don't have it right in front of me, but they have to give an opportunity for the main individual to come out, determine if there's some type of violation. First, they kind of get a first chance to fix it at that level before they can even present it to a magistrate, which I think is a good thing. We don't want people just coming down and signing, out or bringing them into court if they can't get it fixed, if it's possible to get it fixed before. But so depending on how the ordinances are written, sometimes there's a hoop or step that they have to go through before they can come down to the magistrate's office.
Does the average citizen understand how this works? And does the average citizen understand the process for filing this kind of deposition, or understanding that even they have the right to file such a deposition?
No.
Well, I can't answer as to what any citizen knows or does not know, but I would like to think if a citizen would call someone within the city and it gets routed to the right department, if it ends up in my lap, we're going to have them come down, so we would advise them. If they just flat out know it, I don't know what anyone knows in that sense.
311 system.
I would hope it would get kicked to us at some point so we can answer, or the police department. I think the police know how to route it to us.
But should the people know?
Yes.
If there is a possible violation next to them on their block that could be filed in the environmental court, should they not have the knowledge and also an understanding of the process to do that? Because other than that, it's just ineffective, as far as I can.
The first place they would go would be 311. And if that could not produce the result, then I think that's where the 311 person might say, we can't help you, but if you go to the magistrate at the environmental court and take it from there. But I don't know if we can't help after 311 what the environmental court would be able to do. Because if they're violating any of our ordinances, we obviously it'll end up here. You are the ultimate environmental court.
Inspection's gonna get that. Yeah. Those violations are gonna be reported, and inspection's gonna get those subscriptions. And they're gonna and they're gonna
They're
work.
gonna hit you.
Right, they come back here, so, point being is, after they hit here, then if they go to that board up there, and then they get exposed, then that's when you got somebody that you can really work on. Because if they've gone through our normal system of being inspected, and they didn't comply, and we fined them, and they went ahead and did it, then they go on the board, then those people are the ones that are offenders that really need to go.
There's a lot of folks out there that.
Cause you bet you put $100,000.
Parking in the yard, park junk cars in the driveway.
And those are police.
They probably have one on their street next door that don't realize it.
Well, the
Just think
311,
that's just the way it is.
if y'all reviewed the 311.
Why don't we tell the people that they can make a complaint?
Yeah, well, I think they can. If you think about what 311 is, 311 is the complaint number. Call for any complaints you got about the city.
Request.
Call 311. It is, but it's, call it what you want to call it. It's where people call, they got something wrong with city. So they call me. And I got people calling about parking in the yard.
I'm gonna leave the door open.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. Anyway, we got to press on, but I think the reality of it, if we need to push the 311.
Let's find one to try. Let's find one to try.
Okay.
Let's find one to try.
But I think putting them on Front Street on the big board is a good step.
Good first step.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we got,
I knew you'd like that.
we got people want to talk to us. Antonio Parker want to talk to us about Centennial Hill.
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you, sir, for this time. My name is Antonio Parker with the Maggie Street Community Development Corporation. I'm here with Dr. Derek Dean as well. He's actually the president of Maggie Street Community Development Corporation.
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was so powerful, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Bruce. I want to thank you all for allowing us to be here. Our premise is about building on the past and moving towards the future. We're located in the heart of Centennial Hill. There's likes of Dr. Martin Luther King, Mrs. Aurelius Browder, as well as Johnny Carr. They're all from that area. That area, years ago was an influential area. They were influential individuals who made a difference in the history of civil rights. Affluent neighborhood at that time as well. So we're really looking at trying to make a huge thumbprint in that area. Along with that, since our inception, being the Maggie Street Community Development Corporation, we've been there for 10 years now. We've done things like after school tutorial. We've had an academy. We've taught ACT, SAT, as well as GED programs. We've had a budget of approximately $100,000, but all of that $100,000 went towards that program. And we've affected about 500 students, approximately 300 parents during this time. Likes of like Kelsey, if you're looking back like Kelsey Town, she's a 2009 participant of our program. She's also a 2010 graduate of JD. She went on to graduate from the University of Alabama. Now she's currently attending the University of West Alabama. I say that to say this. She's currently now working here within the city of Montgomery. A lot of those individuals who graduated from our program there and a part of our academy, they have come back to the city of Montgomery to actually work. What we're asking for, we saw yesterday the county commissioners yesterday morning, and we're here before you today. We asked for likes in kind, just like with them, because we are trying to reach out now on what we've actually done in the past. We're asking the council, just like the commissioners, to support our endeavors, and we're asking for $25,000. But I heard y'all discuss money today, but that's not going to make us change our pitch. The need is there, and key programs like obviously state taxes. It's that first one. We've been doing this for the last year. there within the Maggie Street Dream Center, which is a $2.2 million edifice that we put there in the heart of Centennial Hill. Dr. Dean is actually, he's at the helm of that program. Also, the professor of biomedical engineering over at Alabama State University. I know he doesn't like to toot his own horn, but I know he normally say this. For the number of individuals we have touched in the schools that we have touched here during the summer of in the internship program and things of that nature, Alabama State University, which is again in Centennial Hill, is the source of engineering for the city of Montgomery. Also, the NAICS program would be what we are. It's kind of new to us is trying to develop a financial empowerment program as well as entrepreneurship. We're looking to try to collaborate with agencies here within the city of Montgomery that's already have professionals in that field that can come in and teach us so we can have an in-kind program there within the Maggie Street Community Development Corporation itself.
I see you work on ACT. What's the number y'all getting for your kids versus what the average for Montgomery County school system is?
Well, I'm not really sure what the average of Montgomery County school
14, I tell you.
You said 14? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's verified. We're more in the 20 to 25 range because our students go let's say, but all of our students are going to major universities. And since you asked the question, we're talking about University of Alabama, and those students are, when their first, semester, those students are honor. We're talking honor students.
Okay.
That is what we are producing. Tuskegee, Alabama State University, Alabama A&M, USA, all dean's lists. Dr. Dean can attest to that. That's what we are producing. Key program that we're really ecstatic about though is I say financial empowerment and the entrepreneurship piece that we're really looking to collaborate with agencies here within the city of Montgomery. And that's one of the things that's new. In addition to that, I've been before you all before about the healthy lifestyle piece, and we've been doing that now since 2013. We have a boot camp at Maggie Street since 2013, and I know I saw I guess Michael Liddell. I saw him earlier. He even came down and participated with us, and he probably can attest to the fact that we've been running that boot camp 2 times a year for the last, let's say, 5 years, and we normally have 20 to 25 individuals there every Saturday. We have a Zumba. When we do our health fair, we also, and that's one of the, in our health fair, we also make sure that we do, HIV screening, that's free to the public. We do health seminars, and also not only that, we have certified people within our CDC that teaches healthy life, healthy heart, which is out of UAB. I'm certified out of the University of Nebraska, National Health Foundation. We're certified to do that as well. But we also have a 5K run and walk during that same time. I want to thank you all for this opportunity, but I do want to say this. We, Maggie Street Community Development Corporation, we believe because of what our students have been doing in the past, that in time that the city of Montgomery will be the Silicon Valley of the South in due time. I'm saying it to say this. Our students that come through our program, even though they have the opportunity, because they have excelled great in school, they really feel they have an opportunity to excel here in the city of Montgomery and be successful, and they are coming back home to work.
Very good.
Thank you. You over in Centennial Hill, do you take people from other areas?
Yes, sir. And that's the reason why we're doing, and we're asking the money we are asking, so we spoke to the commissioners yesterday, because we are actually trying to expand the program as we have had it, because a lot of our money has been, like basic donations in kind, and now we
all the money.
Excuse me.
They give you all the money.
County commission's going with $25,000. Yes, sir. And matter of fact, they told us, matter of fact, they said that we normally come to, obviously, we should come to you guys first, then them. But I did let them know that we were coming to you all today. So it was kind of, it was kind of good with that decision. But we do want to thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Brian McGuire, you here with Lee?
Yes, sir.
You want to say something to us? David?
Okay, yeah, Coach McGuire is here on behalf of the Robert E. Lee girls softball team. They have almost nothing to work with right about now, so he's here. Presented a budget to them, and they're seeking $5,000 from the council. And Mr. Coach.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, how are you doing today? Coach
Get
Brian.
that boy, get that bass in your boy like I heard the other day.
Coach Brian McGuire. This is my second year teaching in Montgomery. I teach driver's ed for Lee, and this year I'm coaching the girls softball team. When we took over the program, we had no uniforms, we had nothing. No balls, no bats, no helmets, anything. And I checked on our funds and found out we only had $143 at that time. And they said, "You're now our softball coach." And so I said, "Well, what do we do for funds?" They said, "Well, you're self-supported. You're going to have to get out and work." And I commend our girls right now, as you can see on the handout I gave you, that with donations, working and everything, from selling donuts to working like in front of Walmart to ask for funds and things. We worked ourselves up to $5,000 right now. And so I'm very proud of the girls for what they have accomplished so far, but we're still short of where we need to be. And just come to y'all today asking for help. If you can help us at all, we greatly appreciate it.
Money goes to Lee and then to you.
It goes straight into our softball account, and this is going to help us buy uniforms, bats, balls, helmets, tournament fees, bus fees, all this.
What happened to your uniforms?
You don't have them no more.
Then we are.
Yeah.
All of them going at the same time.
Come look at ours.
Yes, it won't go directly to me.
It'll go to Lee.
No, but I mean,
It'll go
there's
into our softball account.
I think everybody knows where the money would go, and I think they appreciate your thing.
Well, it's Barry, listen, you put us a list, but that's not an invoice, it's a quotation. What he gave. Do you need an invoice?
Depends on what money it is.
He needs an account.
He needs an account. We don't have an account set up for them, do we?
Lee
All
High
of
School.
the schools
Okay,
are.
school already got set up, so yeah, you got it.
Yeah, but Barry wants for the 618 funds, and we don't just want to give the money to the school, we want to buy.
You can't out of 618. Nobody go directly to somebody.
Some of these items qualify for the 618 funds, the uniforms. Some of them obviously would not, but have to come out of rental tax. I mean, transportation, fires.
Okay.
We'll try to get you, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we need to go into executive session for a,
Did you get your question answered?
I'm looking at Kim.
I need to talk to him.
Well, we got one on a real estate transaction, so we'll get that one started, and if you can do the other, we can go into that.
How do we do that?
You have to declare it before you go in.
Well,
She has
I'm
to
declaring
confirm.
a real estate transaction,
Yes.
which is appropriate. I don't know about you.
All in favor?
Do I need to or not?
For a limited.
Ma'am?
I need to show you, for a limited purpose.
limited what?
All of
Purpose.
So we are going into good name and character as well.
Good name here?
See it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, need a motion from council.
Have a motion?
Motion, not motion.
Bill, second.
Ms.
All in
Bell.
favor? Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Are you reconvening?
Not reconvene.